Joining us for today's Coach Chat, head boss of Salisbury University women's volleyball, it's Justin Turco, everybody. Justin, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Doing well, thank you.
Glad to have you here and glad to uh, perhaps have a season on the horizon. Are you feeling a certain buzz now that we're getting close to getting to play some Seagull volleyball games again?
Yeah, it's early in the semester, and anytime students return to campus, I think there's general buzz, positive buzz on campus. I know, all the athletes are ready to go. They've been staying in shape, being healthy, being safe. So anytime we can compete, there's a general excitement, and we're all looking forward to getting back on the court.
On a normal timeline, your team would have had their season in the fall, and in this instance was just limited to some practices. How did those fall practices go?
They did great. We did all 6 a.m. practices. We didn't have any players complaining waking up. Everybody was just excited to be able to get on the court. We made it through our entire fall practice sessions healthy, without any positive tests, without any injuries. Everybody came in. Everybody got better. We just did the team GPA, and it was above a 3.6 as well. So it was a really positive semester, getting stronger as a team, bonding better, and academically really on point.
I can imagine with a practice season like that where you don't have games to, I won't say, distract you from the practice and the academic stuff, but there's time to focus on things that you might not have been able to focus on in a normal season. Were there any aspects of the team and the game that you were really able to double down on in an instance where you didn't have the games to prepare for?
Yeah, we didn't necessarily look at it as a team-based thing because it's tough to judge and implement that when you're in a team setting. We looked more positionally and individually in things that maybe there's a technique that we wanted to improve on, but as you switch it, you go down, you drop for a little bit, maybe a week or two before you really start to progress and you get that higher athletic ceiling, higher technical ceiling. So we looked at small groups, individuals. We were really patient in trying to switch technique to make our team better in the long run. All the players came in, working hard. It all paid off. We got to scrimmage, inter-squad scrimmage once a week as well. So we got to implement a lot of that. But where the time in the fall was very valuable, and all the players and coaches took advantage of it.
Were you able to do anything sort of special on would have been game days to sort of fill the occasion of it? Okay, usually we would have a game. We don't. Let's do something to mark the occasion.
Yeah, we did, not necessarily on those dates, but we did an inter-squad scrimmage once a week where we had it fully statted, fully videoed. So we could do weekly film sessions, similar to what we would do during a normal season. So Monday film sessions, look at what we did well, what we didn't do well, improve on those. So we had some sense of normalcy there where they knew they would compete once a week. They'd get their teams ahead of time to try to build that little competition going. And they'd come in 2 different color shirts, and they would compete hard. So we were able to play, I think, 5 or 6 matches against each other throughout the fall, which was very valuable.
I suppose there's no turning off the competitive gene within you, even if there aren't like formal games against other teams. When there's a chance to compete, they're going to compete.
Yeah. We have it's a very tight knit volleyball family here, but we have a saying in practice: they're not your friends across the net. Water break after you're playing, they're your friends again. But once they step on that floor across the net, and they compete hard. So any chance they get to be in a competitive situation, they take it.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like the pandemic has forced a lot of changes in terms of practices and timing and all that sort of thing. Are there any sort of changes that COVID has prompted that you actually kind of liked and hope stick around when we get back to a post-pandemic world?
Not necessarily rules, but I think just the general awareness of if you're sick or being around someone who's sick can impact you. A lot of teams in the falls will go through a week or 2 where something goes around, bug goes around. So I think just being a little more aware of your surroundings, aware of your own self, being a little more cautious while competing and practicing, I think that would be a good thing. The extra hand sanitizers, things like that are also great. But I think just the general focus on being healthy in all aspects of your life.
Mhm. And I think that can be applied to not just volleyball, but to anything really. And hey, that's one of those instances where the sport you're playing teaches you life lessons beyond just the net.
Definitely.
Mhm. So you've got your team healthy and with a competitive fire and ready to go back and play games against other teams now. Can you tell us about the process of putting a schedule together? It really is sort of a preview of what's going to have to come in the Coast to Coast Conference in the future years here, not just this one.
Yeah, for the spring, it's just trying to find schools that are open and following certain guidelines that can play. And then we kind of go day to day with that and kind of go with the flow to see who can play and when we can play and if we can make it. For the fall, the Coast to Coast Conference, it's not as big as a prox onto fall sport for volleyball because there's a lot of tri matches. You can play 3 in a day, you can play 4 in a weekend. So, for instance, we're going up to the reigning national champions. They have a conference match. We're going to play them and another team that day. So, filling the schedule, we might travel a little more in October than normal. But the other local C to C teams are scheduling us, so we'll get at least 1 or 2 matches in with them. So scheduling's a little more difficult, but it's also we have a little more freedom to schedule who we want, so we can really boost our strength of schedule and play top teams in the region.
Now, personnel-wise, can you maybe shine a light on some returners to watch for? Maybe a star that you're hoping takes it to the next level, and a role player from last year who you think is really to step into some big shoes.
Yeah, it's competitive. We're going to be a deep team. We're going to be a pretty big team in the fall. And all the returners work really hard this fall. They're expected to work hard this spring, and they're all excited to get going. And, any one of them can take that next step and be a breakout player next year. There's not a lot of difference between our top and bottom in a position, so there's a lot of competition. So everybody's just working hard and trying to get better themselves and for the team.
And then the newcomers, I know this is, not your normal onboarding process when it comes to the freshmen. Now, how have they been able to adjust to arriving into the college game and not getting the fall season immediately, but still getting ready for when their time on the floor really does come?
Yeah, they did a really good job of coming in with an open mind, understanding that this is not a typical year. Our leadership and upperclassmen on the team are phenomenal. So the returners did a really nice job of integrating them into our culture, making sure they understand the rules and how we do things here, and being really supportive with them, understanding that, freshman year, that's a tough year to come into college when things are so different. But they did a phenomenal job, the rookie class. They came in, worked hard every day, went to extra reps, worked hard in the weight room, and did awesome in their classes as well. So, they understood that hopefully this is just temporary, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that they just have to keep grinding and work hard and try to win each day in practice.
And that light is growing brighter every day for Salisbury Volleyball. Justin Turco, head coach, thanks for joining us, and we're looking forward to seeing your team back there on the floor really soon.
Thank you.